Switched up, I just changed lanes. I be with them niggas getting money and with niggas who gang bang. You niggas too frilly, you too strange. Cop some better work, hit the block, save up, get a new chain. I see my uncle hop in a new range. He taught me how to rap, bubble pack, now I got me some new flavor. I know y'all niggas thought that y'all had me, but the glick in the stash, she tried me. Get popped like acne, we got buttons on the back of them ratchets. Two turn can't relax me, rock designer, bitch, ain't none of us tacky. Ain't have nothing but some noodles in the crib. On that demon time, I move crucial with my blick. Baby, I'm a blood, but I be grooving with my sig. I be getting paranoid, bitch, don't be moving through my crib. No, it's RMSG, and I started this shit with Miz. Vamping in the jacks, they know I did this shit with shiz. We really put that bat on ass. We don't talk about them kids. They know I'm from the trenches, so it is what it is. Yeah.
Yo, what's the deal? It's your boy Norms, and we on 10-8 Podcast. We are live in the mother effing building. Got a lot to talk about. We're back. I told y'all, man, we're going to do this at least, I'm going to say about once a week or better. You know what I mean? We're going to get it shaking. We're going to get it rock. Actually, not once a week. I'm sorry, Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. It's 12:09 right now. I'm waiting for my guest. For some strange reason, I cannot find my goddamn video. Like, oh, here it is. But anyways, there's been a lot of listen. First of all, 2024 started off with a bang. We've had the Tyson Fury Usyk is supposed to go down, even though it got postponed because of the injury. We got Haney, Bill Haney dominating the headlines in regards to just boxing. We're trying to figure out what Gervonta Davis is going to finally do. You know what I mean? It's about to be super. It's actually been super lit. There's a lot of good fights. I think Teofimo fights Jermaine Ortiz this week. It's been super dope. And I think it's going to continue. You know, there was a leak out there right now that said that Canelo Alvarez was going to end up fighting Terrence Crawford, as well as possibly fighting against Jermell Charlo this year. People are still screaming about they want to see Benavidez, this and that. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I have a special guest today, my guy. I follow his stuff. I follow his stuff on Instagram as well as YouTube. My man Marko. We're about to bring him on right now. Hold on. What's good, my brother?
What's going on, man?
What's good, man? You look very excited, brother. You know what I'm saying? What's good, brother?
Chilling.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. I'm chilling, man. Just enjoying everything that's transpiring right now in boxing. Like, I think it's, a lot of people were, at one point were saying boxing was over and a bunch of stuff. And I kind of feel like ever since Jake Paul came along and started really bringing back the pay-per-view stuff, the boxing and stuff, it's kind of jumped off. People are fighting each other. Most people are fighting each other, but I feel like guys like Bill Haney are adding to it with his stuff. Devin Haney's doing his thing. And I feel like 2024 just alone, just with the Usyk fight versus Fury, and you got Canelo possibly fighting Terrence Crawford, as well as Jermell Charlo and possibly Benavidez sometime next year, I would assume. But I think it's been dope. What do you feel like right now, the state of boxing as 2024, Marko? Actually, introduce yourself, brother. I'm sorry.
Marko Boxing. I'm on Instagram, YouTube. It's under Marko 3_ boxing. Put out a lot of content, a lot of videos. I'm a former fighter myself. Interview fighters, interview coaches, fight fans, all that stuff.
No, and I love to go into what you do before we get into these other topics, like your breakdowns and stuff like that. Your breakdowns are dope. I've been watching, I seen when you said the hardest punch you ever saw. I seen you break down when Mayweather got rocked the first time versus Chop Corley and other fights. Your breakdown is dope. You were a professional boxer. Walk us through that real quick. Like, how did that come about?
I grew up in Hell's Kitchen. Started learning how to fight when I was young, out of necessity, and then I just started fighting, and then I went to this gym in Times Square. At the time, it was called Kingsway, this was over like right by the Port Authority, like in the gutter. I'm
Mhm.
talking late 80s Times Square, not
Oh,
not
you're
the
talking about hookers
not
and crack all over the place. Yeah, I got you.
yeah, pimps, hookers, crack. Yeah.
Mhm.
Not the beautiful thing we see
Disney
now.
World. You're talking about
Yeah, not Disney.
post Giuliani, pre Giuliani. You're talking about pretty much.
Yeah, this was shit. Ed Koch, man. I don't even know who was mayor
I
back
think
then. Dinkins,
Dinkins.
Ed Koch,
Dinkins, yeah.
one of those two. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I ended up moving to Catskill, New York when I was 15 to train with Kevin Rooney, who was
Get out of here.
yeah, I lived in his house for a couple years. I was training up there out of the Custom Auto Catskill Boxing
Wow.
Club. And then I really didn't like living in a small town in Catskill, so I moved back home. And then I just kept it on, throughout the years. I would do it on and off, though. I would take a lot of time off boxing. I wouldn't do it straight through, which is why I never, got a big name or anything like that.
So I mean, of course, Catskills and Custom Auto and Rooney, like it's legendary because of Mike Tyson. Did you? I mean, like, how was that time? Because pretty much what you're saying around that time is when Mike Tyson was pretty much the guy. Like he was taking over at that time.
No, Tyson was in jail at that time.
Wait, he got in jail in the 90s. Oh, you went in the 90s. Oh, okay.
I'm 47, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went in 92. In 93, I was there, and he was in jail. Yeah.
How was it actually being around him though? Like, Rooney and just the legendary, individuals.
I
know you have Tyson stories. Like seriously, like that's kind of crazy.
I don't have any Tyson stories because he wasn't there. Yeah, he wasn't there. They had already split up. So I was there with other guys like Hassan Rahman is a good friend of mine. We started together. Vinny Pazienza was up there. Floyd Patterson. I've been around. A few people, but it was, I was 15, but it was now when I look back, it was crazy. Back then, I'm just a kid. I'm in there. I'm sparring with these pros. You know what I mean? I'm in there with men. Like I was the youngest one. And I was kind of, I'm 5'11", and at the time I was 5'11", like 178. So people at 15, so people thought I was going to be a heavyweight, but I ended up fighting at middleweight. I just kind of never grew an inch past 5'11". I slimmed down a little. So, it's something that's more amazing when I look back at it. Not at the time.
From my perspective, of course, hearing those names is just like holy shit. Like growing up on watching Tyson, hearing the legendary stories of Custom Auto, and you kind of you lived it in a sense. It's super dope. So like I'm like kind of like oh shit that's fire, bro. Like, but moving past that, you have a love for it. You end up starting breaking down different fighters. You definitely have a passion for it because you drop like 100 videos a week. Like it's crazy. Like I'm like, shit. How do you have like first of all, how do you break down so much shit? Like I love boxing. I've been following boxing since I was a kid. I'm 43 now, right? And I remember growing up Puerto Rican, we would get up at my grandparents' house. We had the hot box and we would all sit around and it'd be packed and just watching these fights. Watching guys like Hector Camacho, who's probably my favorite fighter of all time. Watching Tyson.
I used to spar Camacho's son back in the day.
Oh, really? That's dope. And it's just like, like boxing was so dope back then. And I feel like fights actually happened. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of them. And I feel like leading into the other stuff we talk about, I feel like going into the Mayweather era and not Pretty Boy, because I think Pretty Boy was exciting. You know what I mean? I think he let his hands go. Completely different fighter. But once he became Money May, I feel like a lot of fighters kind of emulated and respected the O more than what it was before. Like people had losses before and people respected it. And I feel like now a lot of these fights don't happen because they feel like that once you get that O, it's over for you, especially, the young urban fighters. And it's kind of whack, to be honest with you. Like Canelo's got losses. You've got other Latinos that have losses, and they don't necessarily get as, they continue. Their fan base continues to grow. But a lot of these guys, it seems like they're avoiding each other, whether it's Gervonta Davis not fighting Shakur Stevenson, not fighting Haney. It's one of those things that's kind of, to me, that's the only thing that messes up boxing is the O. The fact that Gervonta doesn't even have belts, so he can avoid everyone, which is crazy to me. I mean, what do you feel like Sean Porter just said yesterday? He was doing an interview. And Sean Porter came out and said that Gervonta's never going to fight Haney. He's at 140. He saw what he just did at 140, how strong he looked, how much faster he looked. And he's like, he will never fight him at 140. The most he'll do is maybe drain him out, get him down to 137, possibly fight him. But he doesn't see the fight ever happening. What do you think?
It's hard to tell. These guys, none of them are fighting each other right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really
Why do you
hard
think
to
that
tell.
is?
A-side, B-side bullshit is what I call it. Kind of what you're talking about. Floyd kind of started that with the Pacquiao fight.
Yeah.
Ego. And then you also have you have all these dudes, promoters, advisors, managers in their ear, along with maybe their friends or entourages or whatever. So, yeah, I think it's ego. It's everything now is about, social media gives a good platform, but it also gives a good platform for people's voices, and people's voices sometimes gas you up in the wrong way. Oh, you're going to let blah, blah, blah. You're going to do this. Oh, you're going to do that. Oh, you better. And people start believing what they hear. And it's almost like they get hyped up the wrong way. And they're like, oh, I'm not going to concede anything. I'm not a bitch. He's the bitch. I'm not the bitch. I'm going to wear whatever size gloves I want. Well, they don't want to wear my gloves. I'm not fighting them. I deserve 75% of the money. It's all this, and nobody cares about who's the best anymore. They care about looking like they're the man.
And that's a good point, because going back to the Gervonta situation, he doesn't have any of the major belts at 135, and that's on purpose, right? And it kind of devalued, like you said, being great. You know what I mean? I don't view Gervonta as a Hall of Famer because I don't feel like he's beaten names. I don't feel like he's done anything to warrant that. Do you feel like the belts have been devalued in this era?
No, I think they should be. I don't think belts matter as much, but
so you don't think champions matter as much as anything? You don't think legacy or guys like what Manny Pacquiao did, being 8 division champions, and guys like Miguel Cotto, you don't think that holds a value? You don't think the fact that the belts aren't being as valued, it allows these guys to now duck and not make historic fights happen? You don't think that's the case?
I don't think the belts matter. I think who's holding the belts matters. And
okay.
Usually the best fighters do hold the belts. Usually. But sometimes they don't. So
why do you
to me, it matters who you beat, not who has the belt.
Okay. I mean, listen, I'm watching the Ryan Garcia stuff, and I'm watching Haney. I'm watching Shakur Stevenson right now. Shakur Stevenson wants to fight the big fights at 135, and he just seems like he can't get them. What do you feel about what he's going through right now? Actually going on and talking about retirement and things of that nature because he can't get that fight that he wants.
He's just frustrated, but I don't blame him, but he's also the same guy who turned down an offer to fight Haney for whatever his reasons were to turn it down. He did turn it down, and you have to invest in yourself, meaning take less money one fight. We're not saying short yourself your whole career. Take less money one fight, invest in yourself, because then you'll get that money back once you win because you believe in yourself, right? He knows in his mind, or at least he believes he's going to beat Devin. So he should have fought him, beat him, and then now he's the one who gets more money.
I mean, the rumor was I think it was like an 80-20 or some wild number like that, split between
75-20.
75-25.
But still, he's still getting millions, and it's still an investment. You know what I'm saying? Get your foot in the door. But his ego's too high, so he didn't want to fight. And look, I get it. He also has all these people who want to make money, and they're saying, well, we're not going to make money off this. So no, don't do this. And instead of telling them we're not going to make money, they probably say, come on, man, you're an Olympian. You're this, you're that. You're going to take 25% off this guy. You beat this guy in sparring or whatever they say to him. He's like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I ain't fighting him. And then we don't get a fight. Instead of saying, beat him, get the belt. He's considered the top guy, if not the top 2 guys in the division. Show that now you're the top guy, and the next guy you fight, you get 75. That's what Floyd did.
Yeah.
You want to follow Floyd? Why don't you follow that example? Nobody follows that example where he let Oscar get whatever you want.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. Okay, I know I'm going to beat you, whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that as well. Like, I feel like, listen, I think Shakur is very talented. Not the most exciting fighter, you know what I mean? But he's talented, and I feel like he should have did that. It's just like hearing him say that he's going to retire and things of that nature. It's like it's kind of sad, and it kind of shows you the state of where he's at, and not to mention, you know, his biggest influence is probably on Terrence Crawford, who went through the same situations in Top Rank, in a sense. They didn't really get big money fights to his late 30s or whatnot, and maybe he's afraid that's going to happen to him being under the same umbrella. I mean, how do you feel about that?
What he feels that what's going to happen to him.
What happened with basically, Terrence Crawford didn't get his real big opportunity to basically in his mid 30s. His biggest fight was Errol Spence. So a lot of people said that Terrence Crawford missed out on a lot of money because of what he went through with his promotional company.
Yeah, that's very possible. Terrence, we almost didn't get the Spence fight because it seemed like he was definitely letting his ego control him, you know? And luckily Spence conceded, Spence was the one who made it more of a 50-50 thing when it really didn't have to be. It could have been a little leaning towards Spence's side because Spence was a bigger draw at the time.
Yeah.
But Spence is like,
definitely is. Mm-hmm.
He's like, whatever, let's just make the fight happen. You want to get a little more, or whatever. And yeah, if Shakur continues doing that, and yeah, he's friends with Crawford, so maybe that's part of the reason why he's being advised to behave a certain way. I don't know.
I mean, I like Shakur. First of all, I like 135 to 140 pounds. I feel like there's so many great fights to be made, whether it's, Matisse, Teofimo, Devin Haney, Josh Taylor, Ryan Garcia. There's a lot of names in those divisions, and it kind of sucks that these fights aren't happening. And as a fan, it just drives me crazy. And even Teofimo's came out and spoken about things of that nature, of guys not wanting to fight him or whatnot. What do you think how can that all get fixed in a sense? Or do you think it's going to happen in 2024? We're going to see Haney maybe fight Teofimo or Gervonta fight Lomachenko or maybe even Shakur. What do you think fixes all that? Or do you think it's possible?
One of them losing will probably fix it. Their ego has to be checked. And usually losing does that.
Because I've seen Haney talking about fighting Conor Benn at 147 pounds. Not excited for that fight. I'm going to be honest. I just saw Conor
Benn and Tank are talking about fighting right now.
And Haney also as well.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that. But, yeah, well, I mean, Conor Benn's he's a safe fight for them because he's not at the level of the other 4 guys or 5 guys if you include Matthias. But he's still a decent name. He still has decent skill, and he's a good big draw, especially in England. So he's a safe fight, and he's a victory that'll make you look pretty good no matter who you are. Like, oh, you beat him? Okay.
Because I don't know if you probably missed it, but Bill Haney was out in London, and he went up to him, and they basically spoke and congratulated him. Yeah, and basically he was saying that, I guess they're part of I think the Zone or whatever, both of them. And they were kind of like leaning, kind of throwing it in the air. And then Gervonta came out and said it. I'm with you. I don't like the fight at all. I get it. He is a big draw out in London. I'd rather see Haney fight against, to be honest, Gervonta. But, it's just not, I mean, I don't know. It's just not a fight for me, but I don't want to see it. I wasn't too impressed by Conor Benn in that fight. I mean, how did you feel about it?
He looked okay. He didn't look great. He didn't look bad. He looked okay. If the other guy had more speed and power, he would have probably been in trouble. But maybe Conor, a lot of times fighters will feel a few punches and will be like, oh, I'm not really worried about that. So I'll take a couple to get a couple in. So just because a lot of fighters get hit doesn't always mean that they're always going to get hit. Sometimes it's strategic. You'll be in there with somebody where you feel it and you're like, nope, I'm not getting hit with that.
So what do you think? Okay, because Gervonta's supposed to headline the next Amazon card, right? Or the first one has been. Where do you think he goes? Come on, Marko, you got so many breakdowns. You got to give me something.
I'm not good at guessing what fighters are going to do. You know what I mean? Like I can analyze stuff that I see, but I'm not good at guessing where somebody's going to go because you never know. Never know,
Yeah.
especially with these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know who I'd like to see him fight, but I don't know what they're going to do.
Okay, who would you like to see him fight?
Tank should fight Haney immediately.
You said immediately?
And then, yeah, they should fight each other, and then Teofimo should probably fight the winner, and then maybe Shakur and Matias should fight, and then the winner of Shakur and Matias fight the winner of Tio versus Tank or Haney.
I like that. In a perfect world, that's actually fine. Like, I would love to see, like, Shakur. You're right. Shakur fight Matias. I think that'll be dope. Matias is calling everyone out. I think that's dope. I just want to see it happen because there's so many. And again, just because somebody loses, in my opinion, it doesn't make it worse for me. I pretty much like a comeback story. That division, particularly from 135 to 140, I feel like there's so much historical shit that can happen. You know what I mean? Like if you take it back, I remember when Mosley and Mayweather were in the same division, and I felt like they waited too long to fight when they finally fought at 147. I feel like they should fight.
I guess, but they were about the same. No, actually, they were almost the same age though when they fought.
Mosley was a couple years older.
Yeah, 2-3 years. But so you think they should have fought like 5 years earlier, 10 years earlier?
I think about 5 years. Yeah,
Pacquiao should have fought Mayweather 5 years earlier too.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like a lot of those fights.
Bud and Errol should have fought
100%. Right? Yeah, no, 100%. But I think Bud is still at the top of his game. I don't think Errol is anymore, to be honest. That's just me. But
we'll see. We don't know how he's going to come back. He might come back, good. It's weird for somebody to look that bad, and people wrote him off, but he's only had one bad performance in his whole career.
It was his biggest night, though. I think that's
doesn't matter. It's still 1 out of 35 or whatever it is.
No, 100%. And a lot of people had him favored. From going into that fight, most people I think had Errol winning that fight. To be honest,
what I noticed was most people who don't box thought Errol was going to win, and most boxers, including myself, were favoring Bud. Now, I didn't think Bud would do what he did. I just thought he would edge it out.
Yeah. Now, that performance actually led to a lot of people wanting to see him fight the 168-pound Canelo Alvarez. And at first, he came out and said he wasn't interested, or he was just too much weight to do it. But now it seems like it's on the table and possibly happening in September of this year. What do you feel about him taking that fight? And what do you feel like his chances are of winning that fight? Because I feel like on the internet, I feel like a lot of people are actually favoring him over Canelo, which is kind of weird to me.
Yeah, because boxing fans in general are very recency biased. So the last thing they see is what they go by. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do so many videos, right? And if I put any videos up from people from back in the day, I mean, so many more views than if I put a video up including somebody current. Mm-hmm. And so this is the same thing. All people know now is, Errol got destroyed by Bud. Bud looks so amazing in the biggest fight of the century, and Canelo lost to Bivol. So of course Canelo's going to lose to Bud. But it's like there's factors involved in why each person won, why each person lost. And if you, just like Tyson Fury, people now think Fury's awful because he looked bad against Ngannou. Mm-hmm. And they think Usyk's going to beat him. I mean, I'm telling you, everybody thinks Usyk's going to beat him now. But if they would have polled that, or when they were polling that, because I've done it before the Ngannou fight, everybody had Fury winning. Yeah. And it's like, again, look at what's going on. Usyk, the advantages Ngannou had to make it a hard fight, on top of the fact that Fury clearly didn't take it too seriously, you see by his body.
Yeah, absolutely.
Usyk has none of those advantages. As a matter of fact, Usyk's the complete opposite. His advantages are something totally different. His strong suits are something totally different than Ngannou's. So I guess that's my point. It's like people have the recency bias, but I try to look at it deeper and try and look at the reasons for why somebody wins, why they lose. Yeah. So that's why I think people are choosing Bud and choosing Usyk. Most people think Usyk's going to be Fury now.
I believe Usyk is going to lose that fight. I think Fury's arguably top 5. I
think Fury could stop him, especially if he goes to the body.
Yeah, and even with the Bud fight, I think even the fact that even Bud understands when they first came up with the fight, he was like, yo, that's a lot of weight. And I think boxing fans or just people that just kind of just tune in don't realize like a couple pounds is a lot. And you were a professional fighter. How important is the weight? You know, like some people say, like somebody shows up, like for instance, Haney showed up at 140 and ended up ballooning up to 165. How big of a factor is that weight?
Now it's not a factor because most people are both doing it, so they're the same weight. But when you deal with something like Canelo, if they fight at 68, you got Bud, who probably walks around at 160, 170, fighting at what he walks around at. But then you got Canelo, who probably walks around like 185, 190. So Canelo's going to have a nice 20, 25-pound advantage, naturally. So that starts making a difference. 5 pounds, even 10. In my experience, all the times I've ever been in the ring, anything under 10 pounds, you don't really feel when you're in there with somebody. Over 10 pounds, you start feeling like, oh, this dude's a little bigger, a little stronger. It's a little harder to push him off. You feel the difference. So that's why I tell people all the time, especially when it comes to like Haney and Shakur and Tank. Oh, they're in different weight classes. And that's people who really don't understand. And I'm not trying to like put anybody down. I get it. But it's 5 pounds. 5 pounds. That's some people fluctuate 5 pounds naturally throughout the day. That's like an average fluctuation in people's weight. So it's nothing. So, So I think though, in the instance between Canelo and Bud, it will make a difference for sure. Because
I also think in that fight, I think people don't realize Canelo's skill set is serious. Like he can do it all. And I think this definitely is going to be not only in weight, but in skill set, Crawford's biggest challenge, and I've never really, Canelo fights, he fought Triple G, the first fight, he fought well going back. Then the second fight, he ended up getting adjusted to the weight, fighting, moving forward. I don't know if Bud is going to be able to fight going backwards against Canelo at that type of pace, because Canelo's going to be on him simply because he is the bigger man, and he doesn't believe that Terence Crawford can hurt him. How do you feel about that?
I don't think Terence Crawford can hurt him. He has a chance of like ping, 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 for 12 rounds. That could possibly happen. But I don't think he's going to hurt him. And I think Canelo's going to do what Canelo does. We know what Canelo does, and we know what Bud does. Yeah. The main question is, can Bud take that punch? And can Bud's punch put any kind of a dent whatsoever on Canelo?
And that's the thing too that I don't think people realize. I think Canelo probably has the best chin in boxing. I'm going to say that. I think he does. Not only that, he knows how to roll. When he's become a way better defensive fighter, he doesn't fully take on a punch like that. And I feel like his biggest issues were when he fought Floyd and when he fought Bivol. Bivol was bigger and fought behind the jab and gassed out. Tank is not that type. I'm not Tank. Crawford is not that type of fighter. I don't think he's that. I mean, I think he's a great fighter. Don't get it twisted, but he's not a defensive fighter like that. And I don't think he poses that threat against Canelo to frustrate him enough to fight behind the jab and keep him off him. And I think that's going to be the biggest issue in that fight. How is Crawford going to keep him off? And I'm with you. I don't believe he hurts Canelo in that fight.
Probably not.
But I mean, I'm still looking forward to the fight because I'm a big Canelo supporter. I like Terence Crawford as well. But I mean, I just want to see the big fights happen. I just don't believe that Canelo will get credit if he wins that fight. I mean, how do you feel about it? Because Canelo was hesitant because of that.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose for him. It's a lose-lose for the most part. He won't. I mean, he'll get credit, but it won't be impressive.
Similar to what people were saying about when he fought Charlo.
Yeah, but Charlo, in my opinion, is maybe a little more impressive just because he's big. Oh wait, no, never mind. I'm thinking of the other Charlo. Yeah, similar to Charlo. Yeah, very similar to Charlo. Beating Bud is more impressive than Charlo, obviously, but it still doesn't really stack onto your legacy, I feel like.
I mean, I see the name recognition, and I get how people are seeing him as, people love Terrence Crawford, especially after his dominant performance at Errol Spence. So I see the name recognition. I just feel like Canelo is the most critiqued boxer out there. I feel like there is no win-win for him in a lot of situations. There was a time where people felt like he was ducking the big Charlo. Now he's probably going to fight him in May, but people now want to see Benavidez. I feel like regardless of what he does, there's always going to be that next thing that Canelo has to prove. And
the only thing I've ever seen Canelo do, I hate using the word duck because fighters, we're not scared of other fighters. Like that notion. Some fighters might be concerned about losing and looking bad, but they're not scared and they're not ducking. They make business decisions sometimes that are like, I think I should fight this guy instead of this guy. But if you're a boxer, you just inherently, part of the job description is not to be scared. Can't have fear. Or if you do, you can have fear, but you use it to your advantage. Everybody has a little fear. But you don't avoid it. You can't avoid anything in boxing with fear. You can use it to spark you, to ignite you, but you can't avoid, So, but the one thing that I think Canelo did, the only thing I could criticize him for is not fighting Benavidez. To me, that is kind of unacceptable.
Okay. I have a different perspective on that situation, in my opinion. I feel like due to the fact that they're both Mexican, right? He's Mexican, Ecuador, whatever he is. I feel like it's a big fight. And I feel like Canelo envisions it being bigger, getting a bigger payday. And I think he got 2 fights left under the current deal that he has right now, right? If I'm not mistaken, he has 2 fights left. So if he, in my opinion, this is what I was thinking. If he beats Charlo, then beats Crawford, Benavidez goes and beats what's his name? I forgot. He has another fight coming up. Then that fight becomes a lot bigger. Now you can come to the table and renegotiate a mega type fight, maybe similar to what Floyd did with Manny Pacquiao. I feel like maybe that's what he's trying to do at this point.
Who can Benavidez beat to rise his stature?
That's a good point. I mean, he's talking about. He's talking about fighting Bivol, which I don't think he should fight. Not at this point. I don't think he should fight.
If he goes to light heavy, he told me. I've interviewed him a bunch of times, and and his pops recently too. Yeah, I think they said to me that it's either Canelo or they're going to 75. Maybe go for the winner of
Bivol and Benavidez.
Yeah. I think
it's too much of a risk.
If he beats, let's say Beterbiev wins, which I think he will. Let's say Beterbiev beats Bivol, and then Benavidez fights Beterbiev and beats him. Then he fights Canelo. Yeah, that'll make the fight worth more money, but I don't think that's the reason, because he's been a mandatory and he's been a force in the division now for at least 4 years, at least.
Okay. But his biggest fights were last year, which was Boo Boo and Caleb Plant.
Right. But he's still been a force. He still has been beating everybody. He fights. He still beats them in exciting fashion. I like Benavidez. I like him a lot. I think he's
I love Benavidez.
Top 3 pound for pound, in my opinion.
I got him at top 10.
But I think Canelo should have fought him already. But if it is a business plan, which it could be, you could be right, then okay. I guess.
I just think it's a bigger. I think it's a bigger fight than I believe. One, I felt like he felt a little insulted when they came out with the when I think Benavidez's father came out and said they got $50 million guaranteed for him right now, and I think he kind of looked at it like, nah, beat some people, then we'll talk. I feel like he was more offended that they put out the business, and that's why he's kind of being stubborn about the situation. But I also do believe that he believes it could be a major payday, a bigger payday than what he's getting. And I think Canelo does do things based upon business at this point. And I think it's smart.
Canelo has earned the right, just like when Floyd fought Berto and then fought Conor McGregor to end his career. A lot of people were complaining. But I look at it like this kid has earned the right to fight whoever the hell he wants and make your 50th fight easy. Yeah. No problem. I would do the same thing. But high payday, high reward, low risk. Why not?
Yeah.
So Canelo's kind of doing the same thing, and I don't fault him for that either. I just feel
I
bad
don't
for
think it's low. I don't think it's low risk though. Fighting Charlo, undefeated, fighting Terrence Crawford. I mean, I think he beats him. I don't think it's low risk. Benavidez, possibly
I don't
Bivol,
think that's low
possibly.
risk. I disagree. I think it's low risk compared to fighting guys at his own weight.
You think he's a low risk fighting Terrence Crawford? I mean, a lot of people don't believe that. I mean, I think he's going to win, but it's still a major. I think it's better than Andre Berto. Yeah.
Crawford is a higher risk, but Charlo was, in my opinion, Charlo was just as low risk as fighting Berto. Not as low as fighting McGregor. Yeah. But Berto had no chance, and Charlo had no chance. Some people might have thought he did.
Oh, I thought you were talking about for me. I thought they were talking about the big Charlo. I thought you were talking about him.
No, I'm talking about the little Charlo, who we just fought.
Yes, I agree with that. I
definitely Charlo is more of a risk because at least he's within one, but he's still smaller. I mean, they're twins. You know what I'm saying? They're probably naturally about 160. Maybe 68. So I don't think it's. I think Canelo has earned the right though to do those things. So while I'd like to see him fight Benavidez, I'm not going to fault him because of his career. He's fought everybody up to this point, and went way bigger.
I think he's going to fight Benavidez. I think it's going to happen next Cinco de Mayo. I don't believe it's going to happen this year. I think it's going to happen sometime. I believe it's going to happen next May, and I think it's going to be the biggest fight we've had in years. And I think Canelo's kind of strategically basing it that way. I just hope Benavidez doesn't take Beterbiev or Bivol. I think that's a big risk to go up there. Even though he's a big man, he's a big bad man. I just think those guys are. I mean, especially Bivol. His style of fighting to me is difficult for any of those type of guys, like a Canelo, like a Benavidez. I'd rather him just wait it out, take another fight, and then go fight Canelo. I do believe Canelo is going to fight him next year. I feel like after these two, I don't think there's no other option. I just don't believe it, unless he fights Beterbiev or Bivol again. But Benavidez is the check. That's the check that people want to see right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's always options, I feel like, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
I mean, Canelo also came out and said he doesn't want to do this too much longer. You're probably looking at another 3 years for Canelo. So, you know what I mean? I don't know.
He's only 33, right?
32, 33, something like that, yeah.
He has a lot of miles on him, though.
He's been fighting pro since he was 15 years old. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, I love the state of boxing, and honestly, Marko, I love the way you break shit down. Like your knowledge of boxing and stuff like that. I admire it. And I get to sit down and watch, and I'm like, yo, Marko knows his shit.
Thank you.
Huh? No, absolutely, man. And I love to pick people's brains and just to see where they're at with it. But you're right. I mean, I don't believe Canelo's ducking Benavidez, to be honest with you. I just think it's a business decision. You have a relationship with him. How do you feel that fight actually turns out at 168?
Benavidez maybe stops him, just beats the crap out of him for 12 rounds. Like, bad. Yeah.
Marko, I don't know. I can't believe you just said that.
Why not?
No, he doesn't beat the crap out of Canelo. I'm sorry, he just doesn't. I just don't see it happening. And I love Benavidez.
I sure do. Too big,
I love him too.
Too fast.
I just feel like he gets hit a lot more than and you're not going to take those shots from Canelo like that. This
goes back to what I said.
Yeah.
Benavidez gets hit when he knows that those shots aren't going to affect him, or when he's setting it up where those shots he's taking one to give one. So if Canelo's power translates that much with Benavidez, which it might not, see, didn't really do it with Bivol, and Benavidez is really a 75-pounder. Really, he's all like sunken in at 68. Sorry, my computer just froze. Yeah, I'm good. My computer froze for a second. If his punches are affecting Benavidez, he won't take those shots. He'll be more defensive. He'll be smarter. People think that Benavidez is really that. I've seen him spar. I've seen all kinds of things. He's a smart, slick, defensive fighter. People label him as a flat-footed, come-forward fighter with zero dimensions, and that's so wrong.
Okay.
So he's not going to take shots if they're inflicting damage. He's just not.
Mhm.
And he has such range, and he uses his range well. And
He does. He's a big boy,
yeah.
man. He does use it well. I don't know, man. I think if anybody has the best chance to beat him, it would be at 160. It would be Benavidez. I just feel like Canelo is just real smart. I think he'll outbox him and beat him. Does he stop him? I don't know. I don't think Benavidez stops Canelo. I don't think anybody stops Canelo, to be honest with you. That's
Probably not. Probably not. But I wouldn't be totally shocked if he stops him. But stops him to where like he's lumped up and the ref stops it. I don't see Canelo quitting. Like I can't keep going. I see maybe, but yeah, I think it'll most likely be a decision, unanimous. But a beating. I think he beats him. Canelo is made to order for Benavidez because they're just going to
really
in front of each other and just start swinging. Yeah. The only time Benavidez ever had problems is when people can outbox him.
And I think Canelo can box. He's a really good boxer. You don't believe that Canelo has a skill set to outbox him?
No, to move around and be on the toes and do like what? No, he doesn't have the reach, the length.
The reach is what scares me. Definitely.
He doesn't have any of that. All his only chance of winning is winning the exchanges and just trying to chop them down. But Benavidez chops down too.
Mm-hmm.
And Benavidez is naturally so much bigger and he's faster. Canelo, the only advantage Canelo has is experience on Benavidez. Maybe one punch power, maybe, but Benavidez is pretty close with power too.
Benavidez, I think, is more of a cumulative punches. I think they both are. I think Canelo also is a better body puncher. I think Canelo's going to attack that body. I think he's a little soft in the body. People are scared to get because he has such long reach. I don't know, man. It's a tough fight to call. I'm a big Canelo fan, but I'm also a big Benavidez fan. I like both of them a lot. Like those are my guys. It's just, I don't know, man. I think Canelo digs deep in that fight, and I think he wins on points. But I think it's a classic, and I think we're going to see a part 2, possibly a part 3. That's just what I believe.
It has all the makings to be a classic because they're both going to stand in front of each other.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun to watch. But I don't think anybody beats Benavidez. Maybe Beterbiev when he goes up, but at 68.
I'm not going to lie. I don't think he should fight Bivol. I don't think he beats Bivol, to be honest with you. I like Bivol. You know what Bivol reminds me of? And, of course, you're probably going to notice. He kind of reminds me of the when Winky Wright was giving everybody problems at 154. His style, just fighting behind the jab, the long arms. You can't really get to him. He's a really he established. That's what I feel in terms of him giving guys problems.
I need to see more Bivol. I think there's a lot of recency bias with Bivol too. He beats Canelo, and people are like, "Whoa, this guy is the slickest boxer we've ever." Canelo.
I don't think he was slick. I think Canelo tired himself out in that fight. Like, to be honest,
Canelo didn't look good. Canelo wasn't punching, and the majority of his shots were going at this dude's arm.
His arms,
and even at the end of the fight, so you hit the arms to make them tired, so they drop. Then you go up top. It never made his arms drop. It wasn't working, yet he kept doing it.
Yeah,
weird, just weird.
And he was throwing bombs at his arms. Yeah,
and he would go in the corner and just let Bivol tee off on him.
Yeah. I think he did that to try to get one in there, but Bivol was just too strong at that way. He
wasn't even throwing one in there a lot of the time. I remember being like, okay, maybe he's playing possum, maybe this is a tactic. Then I'm like, he's just kind of like when Roy would go up in the later end of his career, just go up against a rope and let people just pound on him. You know what I mean? That's kind of, it seemed like what Canelo was doing. So I wasn't that impressed with Bivol's victory over Canelo because that Canelo to me didn't look like he was trying. It was something was weird. I don't know why he was.
I just felt like when it came to fighting a lot of those bigger guys, he does attack the arms, try to get him down and try to land some big shots. And he kind of looked tired. Like after the 6th round, he just looked exhausted. Like he was done.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
So,
but I wasn't that impressed with Bivol. And I'm still not because who's Bivol beaten besides Canelo?
So you got Beterbiev beating Bivol in this next fight?
I think so, but I will say that I haven't watched enough of Bivol. I've watched a lot of Beterbiev recently. I haven't watched enough of Bivol, so I should watch a little bit more of him first before I fully decide. So I'm not really sure yet.
So when are we gonna get that breakdown? Because I got to tune in for that one. Because I like Bivol. I like his style. He's a strong Russian kid. Whatever I think he's Russian.
He's Russian.
Yeah,
They're both Russian, aren't they? Yeah, they're both
Yeah, I
Russian.
think so.
Oh no, wait.
One from
Yeah,
Canada. I think Benavidez
Um,
from Canada. He says he fights out of Canada.
Well, he's from Russia, but yeah, I guess he moved to Canada. He represented Canada. Yeah, I think I'll do that one soon. Now that they're officially fighting.
Please,
And
I
it's
need
fun.
to. I like to watch some shit.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I think I'll do that soon. It's fun for me because it'll be my first time really taking a deep dive into Bivol. Because all I've seen him do is fight Canelo. And to me, I didn't see any exceptional speed, any exceptional power. Good, very good fighter. But I'm saying exceptional, right? I didn't see anything exceptional.
And that's why I compared him to Winky Wright. To me, Winky Wright wasn't exceptional, and he wasn't the strongest fighter. He wasn't the quickest.
Defense. He was exceptional in his defense.
On deep, but he had the long arms that you couldn't hit. It kind of reminds me of Bivol with his high guard. He's going straight forward, and he frustrates you. You're hitting arms all day, and that's kind of. And he fought behind the jab, which was similar to me to Bivol. Bivol has a very good job.
He's also a southpaw, Winky, so that gives him.
Yes, But and I feel like people don't give Winky enough credit as he should as well. But
I interviewed Winky a bunch of times. He's cool.
Oh, he's awesome, man. I'm a big fan of Winky Wright, but I feel like that's where Bivol gives people his problems, and I think he's going to beat Benavidez. To be honest, that's what I say. But we could talk about that when we get closer to that.
It's possible.
Yeah, but I'll let you rock. I know you're a busy guy, man. I appreciate you even stepping on the platform, man. I definitely want to build with you, man. I appreciate your knowledge. Let them know where they can rock, where they can find you, brother.
Marko Boxing. Once again, it's Marko 3_123 Boxing on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. I'm even doing now, Facebook, all that stuff. Yeah, and I, do daily content. Yeah,
you do like 50 videos a day. I'm like, I don't know how you do it, bro.
I only do like 1 or 2 a day. One short one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't do as many.
You got a lot of videos.
But they're not that hard to do either, because they're only 60 seconds.
Oh, you do a lot of shorts. Yeah, I get it.
But I do a lot of. It depends, and more videos come out when there's a big fight coming up. Then it's like when Errol fought Terrence. There was a lot of videos you could do because you could talk to each guy's coach, each guy's strength and conditioning trainer, the guys themselves, their managers, whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess it comes kind of in spurts.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. Let's definitely build, brother. I appreciate you.
Yeah, of course. It was my pleasure. Thanks for having me, and stay in touch.
All right, my brother. Appreciate you.
Peace.
That's my guy Marko. Go to his channel, man. He got a lot of dope breakdowns. Very knowledgeable brother, and we're gonna keep building. So we'll be back on tomorrow, 12 p.m. with more stuff. Tune into the channel. We're gonna continue to build. We're gonna continue to get shit going. It's your boy Noah. It's the 10A podcast, and we are out.
We ain't playing fair for nothing. Little niggas put in work. Shorty riding for his cousin. He be chillin', but it's nothing. You just gotta push his button. I ain't slipping, got a smiffin'. Niggas thought that I be bluffing. Yo, I'm a dog, nothing less than a Great Dane. I'm really from the street, so we had to hustle to maintain. I never switched up, I just changed lanes. I be with them niggas getting money and with niggas who gang bang. You niggas too frilly, you too strange. Cop some better work, hit the block, save up, get a new chain. I see my uncle hop in a new range. He taught me how to rap, bubble pack. Now I got me some new flavor. I know y'all niggas thought that y'all had me, but the glick in the stash, she tried me. Get popped like acne. We got buttons on the back of them ratchets. 2 turn can't relax me. Rock designer, bitch, ain't none of us tacky. Ain't have nothing but some noodles in the crib. On that demon time, I move crucial with my blick. Baby, I'm a blood, but I be